It is said that the fourth industrial revolution will be led by digitalization. And of course, SPENN technology is among leading entities that are vanguards of this particular charge of digital revolution. The name is Wenson Mavoro, and you are watching a special discussion program where we will be discussing and getting to understand what SPENN is all about. I'm joined by the Chief Executive Officer, who is Jens Glaso of SPENN Technology. And of course, on my immediate left is Karl Anders, who is the Chairman of SPENN Technology. You're welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for
having us. It's a pleasure to have you. So I know that the majority of the viewers that are watching us right now, 17.5 to be specific, are eager to know what exactly SPENN is all about. Would you do the honors, Jens?
Of course I will. Of course I will. SPENN is a tool for everyone to use. It's all about a tool to unite people, to be able to take access to a bank account. SPENN is quite different from typically Momo and other things. It's a mobile banking solution. It's for everyone. Everyone can download it. You can instantly go online, and you can do services as you can with a Momo, like pay bills and buy airtime and go online and do shopping on internet stores, etc., etc. In addition to that, there is also multiple other services that I also will talk more about. But it's all about a service where people are united. It's for everyone. Either you're unbanked or just a Momo user, or if you are a banked user. There is no border between our system, meaning that if you come on board and you're going to send money and receive money, you can do that independently if you are a customer of another bank, which we are partnered with, or another. That doesn't really matter. And the good thing is that all these services is completely cost-free. So sending money and receiving money and even withdrawing money and depositing money is completely cost-free.
Coming to you, Karl, obviously one of the most important things that Jens has mentioned is the fact that this, digital application is free. And I think that should be to the delights of each and every Zambian that is watching us right now. But what I'd like to find out is how important is this application to ensuring that the digital financial agenda of Zambia can be promoted, which can lead to even promoting, economic growth?
I think we are actually there to make economic growth. I mean, the whole purpose and the whole strange thing when you're coming from a country like Norway is that all transactions are cost-free. And they have been cost-free for all my life. Norway is, as you probably know, one of the richer countries in the world. And if any bank would make fees on transactions, they would lose their customers in a heartbeat. That's completely unacceptable. And I think any kind of economy that is going to work has the ability to transfer money. And having to pay for them is a loss for society. I think that if Zambia is going to grow, and I'm quite impressed about the development I've seen it, I think you need a cost-free system. Everything else will make it difficult due to transaction, and transactions cost will kill the growth in the country.
Jens, tell us, what inspired, the creation of SPENN? I know that right now in Zambia there are quite a lot of applications, that are on the financial market. But what really inspired SPENN?
Well, I mean, you're talking to the founder, so that's obviously a long answer, but I'm going to try and keep it in short. What inspired me was after I exited my previous company, I was deep diving into this technology, and I instantly saw that by utilizing this technology, we could actually solve one of the biggest issues within financial inclusion. And that's actually exactly what we have done by utilizing this technology. And obviously, when I was sitting with this idea, and I instantly understood that, okay, here is a great opportunity. Should we do this back home in Norway? No. We have all the services where we need there. Well, we didn't have this tool. But my decision was that we rather wanted to go to this continent. Why? Because we pretty much had the simplicity back home where we come from. And I think it's all about the simplicity. I think it's all about the ability, if we could develop this tool and where we could create the interoperability between having a bank account and getting access to everything. I mean, for us, imagine if you had to go to the bank to pay all your bills, etc., and even you, I mean, all the time you're spending doing that. This is what I thought that, okay, we want to do it the hard way. We want to start here. And that's what we did. So we started on this continent because we really, really believe that the people living also here in Zambia want the same simplicity that pretty much everyone else has. That's what inspired me, and being able to help these people, either if you are banked or if you are underbanked or unbanked, to actually be able to join such a system. And as I said, by into a system where everyone is united. That was the inspiration.
You've talked about simplicity and, of course, being a major driver, as part of the inspiration for you coming here. But maybe one would be interested to know also, why Zambia? I know that you're in other countries, but why Zambia?
Well, there is many decisions behind Zambia. First of all, what we have seen, I mean, I was here 1.5 years ago, and due to COVID, I had to stay home. It was impossible for me to come here. But the development that this country has had the last 1.5 years truly proved that this is the right decision, and truly proved that this is the right place to be. Being in a market where we see this innovative adoption, and not only speaking of that, but we are also in a market where mobile money is very popular. The step for the people to actually come over to the system that we have, as said, we are very similar to the Momo in many ways, but it's a key difference. We are a bank account. It's not a Momo. It's not a telecom product. It's a bank account. Now, so this is why we did it, and I think that Zambia and the adoption that we have got here now with more than 500,000 users, I think that is fantastic, and especially through the Corona times, with all the hurdles that we have had, being out in the field and talking to people, onboarding people, and doing all this work. So that's pretty much the reason behind it.
Talking about Corona times, Karl, obviously the pandemic has affected each and everyone in one way or another. And I think the phrase, you're either affected or infected, applies to the COVID-19. But what I'd like to find out is, in Zambia, we saw the importance and the emergence, the realization of the importance of, digital platforms, digital financial platforms such as SPENN, when COVID-19, was at its peak. I'd like to find out from you, going forward, how important is it as a country, as a people, to begin to embrace this path of digitalization or fintech?
I basically think you have no choice but to do it. I mean, the world is moving ahead, whether you like it or not. And the digitalization is actually what improves the quality of life, because you save times, it's easier, easy access. I mean, what surprised me when I was in Africa, and it was not in Zambia, was seeing the long lines of people standing in a bank. Myself as a person, and I'm a business owner of 17 companies, I haven't been in a bank for 3 years, physically. If I was going to spend like half an hour or an hour going to the bank and using it, I would spend like 1/10 of my working time. That means I had 10% unproductive time. And if you ask my family, I think they would rather have me home than standing in a bank line. And that's quality of life. So if somebody likes to stand in a bank line, maybe SPENN is not the product for them. If you don't really think standing in bank line is the most funny thing you can do, we are the product.
Interesting. But I like that. Coming to you again, Jens. Obviously, you did elaborate on why Zambia was among the preferred destinations to come and launch this revolutionizing product within the banking sector. And adding to that, I would just like you to just tell us, how the journey has been since you came to Zambia. And you can add to that the vision that you have for the Zambian market. What does the future hold for SPENN? Is it an app that would disappear when things stop going okay? Or people can be rest assured that SPENN is here to stay?
Let's start with the last first. I can definitely comfort everyone that we are here to stay. As we were talking about slightly before this interview as well, we are also now a listed company, so which of course then also secures us the funding that we need to make sure that we are able to put in the investment that it requires to be here. Not only that, I also think it's valuable to mention that we also do have a very strong partner, which is Access Bank. Axis Bank is also fairly new into this market, but at least they are in a very positive way also, aggressive into the market, meaning that they are also investing into taking their position in the market. This comes very well along with us and how we think and how we wanted to move forward, not only in Zambia but also the other markets where we are present. As you know, we are already also in Rwanda and Tanzania, and we're also about to establish ourselves in Uganda and Ghana. But Zambia in focus. I think what we are doing, and I think this is key, is that by allowing a tool into the market where people actually can deposit money, where they actually can use these cost-free services, where they actually can get access to these other financial services since you now have your bank account, they are then empowering the bank. So the people is empowering the bank, and since they are empowering the bank, we did the work going to the bank and say, hey, you have a problem today, and that is access to capital. So what we are doing is facilitating that capital to the bank, and by such we said to the bank, well, we need to give an interest on the money back to them. So this is what we do. So we said to the bank, you have to do something for the people. The people is empowering you, and in return, you provide a cost-free tool. So that has been our role. So this is a very good model for us, but the most important part here is that we have created this tool which has this interoperability, which makes it possible for people to not only get a Momo account, but actually get a bank account. And this is the new era. And talking about the path forward as well. I mean, speaking of, for example, Netflix, Blockbuster. Why didn't Blockbuster take the position of Netflix? Because they were not able to adapt into the new things. We have a cost-free system. Yeah, of course, it's easy to do cost-free, but it's super hard to compete with cost-free because we all know the structure behind the existing system today. Mm-hmm. Now, what is coming up here, which I think is worth mentioning, is also we are launching an agent app. This is also very important because with this agent app, people can sign up and become an agent. Existing agents, the people who's working like this today, but also new ones, and they will make money from it. Now, I said that all our services is cost-free. So if you go to the branch, yes, the service is cost-free. But if you go to the agent, obviously there will be a fee. But this is, again, with the usability and also the simplicity. It's close to you. So then you can accept that. Now, for the people who decide to do that, they will, of course, make money. So, I mean, people out there, if they want to work for us as an agent, use the SPENN app. It's being launched the 1st of September. But not only that, what is also important is the USSD. We have now adapted, and this is a learning from the African market. Mm. We started with an app-based product, and we saw that, okay, it is difficult not to adapt to what is the previous. So we have kind of come in with a hybrid solution, and where we know also can accept USSD users through that agent app. So you can go to that agent and you can do all the services that you need, even with a feature phone. So this is what we have been doing,
Indeed, massive opportunities right there, as explained by Jens, that SPENN does offer. And of course, after this break, we will be right back and delve into exactly how you can be able to be a part and parcel and utilize these opportunities that SPENN does bring. See you shortly. Welcome back. You're watching a live discussion program where we are looking at the SPENN financial application that is revolutionizing the Zambian financial market and at the same time providing opportunities that are economically uplifting. And of course, with me in studio is Jens Glaso, who is the Chief Executive Officer, and Karl Anders, who is the Chairman of SPENN Technology. Now, before we went on a brief break, Jens was basically talking about the massive opportunities, that SPEN provides. From you, Carl, I'd like to find out, Zambia obviously has this bracket of emerging entrepreneurs, that are key players, that can be key players to building this economy. How important is an application such as SPEN to this cadre of entrepreneurs that are coming up?
I think it's rather important because any business that is going to grow need money. And money is a part of and the heartline of actually doing business. And instant access, no delays, doing that in a way that saves times, that was it all about. I think if you look on humanity in the long run, and I'm not taking a long time, but in the long run, the reason why people have better lives today is because we spend less time on things we spent much time on before. So the only way to improve quality of life is by doing that you do think quicker and more efficient. And this app makes it much more efficient for businessmen. They can save time. They don't have to go to the bank and take out money for salaries. They can pay salaries through the system. They can do transactions instantly. Don't need to bring all the cash. I mean, as a business, time is one thing you want to save, but you also don't want to have too much money being sleeping or being standing. You want the efficiency on capital. You want the efficiency of people. That's what makes business. That's what makes you better than your competitors. Is that you have more efficiency of these two things. I think SPEN helps businesses with that.
Jens, obviously, people are wondering right now, after hearing all the marvelous things that you've spoken about SPEN, and some of them are on their mobile phones right now, just wondering where they can find this brilliant application. So, where can a person, whether on Android, iOS, or any other available platform out there, be able to get SPEN?
Well, should I take the marketing pitch now? Which is not my department anyhow. No. You go to the App Store or the Google Store and you find the app there. And you can even go to our webpage, which is spenn.com, SPENN.com. And you can go directly to the link there. It's both for iPhone and for Android. Yeah. So and the agent app, we always launch the Android first. So that will be launched purely with Android to begin with.
Interesting. If you look at the Zambian current setup when it comes to, affordability and accessibility to mobile phones which are smart, you'll find that half the time they're concentrated along the line of rail. What about the population that is in rural areas that may not have access to smartphones, but have access to radio and are able to hear information about this brilliant,
Yes.
innovation
Yes.
such as SPEN? How do such people have access to this app?
I think you're touching upon something extremely important. As long as there is 3G coverage, there is also coverage for us because that gives you access to data. Of course, you need data. So that is something that you need to afford. You can always buy that with us. So, of course, one key element is, of course, also to cover those areas. But we have to be honest. I mean, it's also more difficult in those areas. So, although we are also working in the field, we are working, for example, with a company called Solar City, also to bring out this to the people, and we are building up the distribution through it, and that's also why we're building up with this agent app for making the distribution better, because confidence and trust comes with distribution. You know all about this. If you can't access your cash, well, you don't want to use the system. So we are definitely working in the rural area, and I could also give you an example for the cooperation that we have with United Nations, and where we have this program in refugee camps. So we're definitely working on this, but of course it will has its challenges, and it's also all about the ability to provide this liquidity facilitation, which is required to these different agents. But that's bring us to the next step, which is very difficult for me to talk too much about right now, but we are also launching a new product which is solving exactly that, which is brilliant, and it's solving it in a very, very unique way, which I'm so much looking forward to talk about, but unfortunately I cannot do that right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
But
we look forward to that.
But we're definitely looking into this, and yes, liquidity providing and sorting all these things, even in a rural area, is important. But for me, like from the founder, the concept and the heart feeling of how we want to do this, banking the unbanked, but not only that, it is for everyone. Of course, that covers that rural population as well, as far as it is possible to do it.
Well, we will wait patiently until the big announcement comes for that brilliant, innovation that you've just talked about. Coming to you, Carl, the Zambian economy right now, if you look at its makeup, it is still largely informal, and of course, bit by bit we are getting there, and what I'd like to understand, or perhaps maybe tap into your mind, is does SPENN help in terms of formalizing?
Definitely. I mean, one of the big problems that I understood in this society is about social security. And it's a challenge when you are in the informal economy. For instance, now it's covered to make sure that you have a social security. I mean, the technical solution is there for actually making people informal economy to be a part of the formal if they choose so. We can't force people to use our app. They are not automatically involved, but they get the chance to be a part of the formal economy by just being connected to the informal economy. The informal economy has several reasons why people are, I'm probably not the best one to say about why it's in Zambia, but it's also about opportunities. It's about actually have the access to be a part of the formal society. I'm quite impressed about how Zambia has developed, but just like SPENN Up, there's still new things that will come and will improve.
Yes.
And I think that if we get to work with the right authorities, with the right, have the willingness, which I has understood from the little I've seen from a new president at least, and also from the old one, was an idea to include people from the informal economy into the formal, and we are helping them, giving tools to do that, and giving people tools if they choose to want to be a part of the formal economy. That's one of the things that really is important to me, because I think that getting financial inclusion is also about getting the kind of social security.
Yes.
Without financial inclusion, social security is a joke, because in many ways you can it with goodwill, but you have to be including, and not included because you choose to and because you have the opportunity, not because somebody tried to cover up the disadvantages about because you are not included. So I think that's one of the reasons that really has been the reason why I have been with this company from the start. I've been the only chairman of the company, and this is one of the things that's important. That's why we have been talking with the World Bank, we've been talking with different organizations, and really I think that financial inclusion has to be effective. The money should not be made to run the system, it should be made to include the people. And I don't think necessarily always the cost is not because somebody takes the money necessarily, it's just that it's expensive to run, and we can run this almost cost-free.
As we get to wrap up the conversation, unfortunately, Jens, apart from the brilliant innovation in the pipeline that you earlier alluded to, what else should Zambians look forward to in the next few months? Those that are willing to join the bandwagon of the brilliant innovation SPENN.
Well, I think there is a lot, and this also reflects to what you were saying in the very beginning, or in the beginning of this session. You said uplift. I think that is key. I think our role in the market is to be innovative. Our role is to help the bank to be that innovative part in the market. So obviously we look into multiple things. There is a lot of things going on in the world. We also have this new currency coming up, which is called crypto, which is also very important to kind of look into and be aware of. Obviously, we are also monitoring this very closely. And there is multiple solutions to kind of solve that in a very good way for also the people. It could be, and as you probably know, there is two parts in that section where you have the people who believes in the unregulated. We are definitely the one that believes in the regulated. I think there is a brilliant opportunities for the governments to take control of something that maybe they don't have that much control of today, or to avoid situations that we saw, for example, in Zimbabwe. So this is also our mission, to kind of work on these kind of solutions, to see how can we actually work together with the bank and together with the government to implement such solutions. Other tools would be, okay, how can we actually help people to take a step further in their economy ladder, by providing them, for example, credit in the future. This is things that we can talk more about, but these kind of products that constantly is empowering the people, because that's our vision. How can we empower the people? That's what we think every day. And this is done by adding new services. And of course, as Karl-Anders was saying in the beginning as well, we have to develop constantly. And this is what we're working on all the time. What is also very important for me to mention, I think that is important. Now you have this two guys from Norway here. I mean, after all, we're coming from an iceberg up there, and it's far away from here. It's very important for me to mention that we have a very, very proper team on ground here. And everything is drifted from Zambia. It's a local team. Everything is local. So, of course, for us to be able to understand the cultural differences and et cetera, it's very important for us also to rely on the feedback that we're getting from our customers, our consumers, and also, of course, our local staff, which is here. So also if I may just comment to what you were talking about with Karl-Anders, I think that is also very important. Is if you're also looking into the GDP, also what this actually means. Today half of the population on this planet is without a bank account. And some would maybe feel embarrassed about it, but that's just how the world is. But keeping them out makes the bank lack the ability to actually grab the opportunity with the cash that lays within these people. And if you see it on a global perspective, this is a $360 billion potential, bringing them on board. So if you break it down to Zambian numbers, that would be, you can do the math out. I don't have the exact numbers, but clearly this is also something which is important for the Zambian market, to put this into the system. And this is how we like to work. Of course, we are a bank product. So, of course, we provide the bank. We're the tech provider to the bank. So we work closely with the bank, but also indirectly with the government, as, of course, SPENN is a regulated tool.
All right. Any final remarks from you?
Well, I would like to say that I hope in many ways that we are contributing to that Zambia will move ahead. And I would also like to say to everybody watching that this is my first time in Zambia. And the first time actually I met the team after COVID. And they really impressed me, almost all of them. I'm quite impressed about the knowledge of people, their dedication, and really the possibilities. I suppose Zambia is one of the countries that really have surprised me about expectations we have in the West. It's really a good place to do business, and it's a good place. I think, and hopefully we can maybe play a tiny part in that development. It would be great.
Interesting indeed. And of course, thank you very much, Jens Glaso, Chief Executive Officer for SPENN Technology, and the Chairman of SPENN Technology, Karl-Anders. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for making time to come and interact with the majority of Zambians that are watching us right now, explaining what this brilliant financial technology application is all about. If you're looking for cost effectiveness, efficiency, opportunity, SPENN indeed is the way to go. And of course, above all, SPENN also speaks to the fact that Zambia is on a quest to achieving an aspiration enshrined in Vision 2030, which seeks to make the country a prosperous middle-income nation. And SPENN is one of those vehicles that can lead to the achievement of this aspiration. The name is Wenson Mavoro. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.